I'm joined by Stephen Ponder from Seminole Boosters, CEO, President. Stephen, talk about, you just made a presentation to the Board of Trustees regarding the West Side project. Can you talk to me about what's happening in Doak Campbell Stadium?
Right. Yeah, so for right now, we're going through the approval process. So we have three things going on right now. We've got the approval process, we've got the construction process, and we have the sales process.
Right.
And so from approval process, the Seminole Boosters Board has approved it. It's now going to the FSUAA, Board of Trustees, and then the Board of Governors. Meanwhile, we are working with our construction company to make sure we hit deadlines for all of our packages to build. And then in the sales process, we're in the club seat section, which is the third opportunity, and we have about 9 more to go. It's going to be about another 18-month process, but we're going to go face-to-face, person by person to talk to them, so it's a slower process. But we are publicly this week, as soon as, well, it's Friday today, but as soon as we can, next week, we want to email information out to all season ticket holders and all boosters to explain what I just mentioned, the process, and also when they can expect phone calls, how they can get involved, etc. There will be an impact for the 2024 season because to get this in by 2025, we have to do it over really 2 years, 18 months. So we will be taking down, the plan is to take down the west stands, replace the west stands with a temporary bleacher, and they use those same seats at the Tampa Bay Bucks and some others, the chairback seat, etc., but it's just a smaller number of seats. So everyone who's a season ticket holder for 2023 will have seats for 2024, but their location may just have to shift a little bit. So we're trying to communicate. It's the hardest challenge to communicate to everyone exactly what's happening. And so this is helpful to be able to talk about it.
Good. And I know you had to go through this process of approval before you could even do that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, we've been working on this project for a long time, but you know, the sales process we had to start, everything, but we still have to go through the official approval process. So again, we're on 3 parallel tracks, all going at the same time. So we've wanted to talk publicly as much as we could, but again, that approval process, we're now able to get there.
Good, good. The club seats on the west side is the process you're in selling right now.
That's right.
And I think you've already sold about 1,000.
Yeah, a little bit over 1,000. Yeah, we've sold roughly 10,000, maybe 50, but there's about 2,200 seats in that club area. So we're 50% right at it for the club seats. And then we'll go to the next product after that, and then we'll go back, you know, because we do it in priority order. So people who were in our first group that we talked to, if they chose not to do the Founders Suites or the Lows or the clubs, we're going to go back to them and say, okay, now what about this one? And so it's, again, now the process is quicker when we do that because they already know about it. But that's just, you know, again, we're trying to be as personal so that people don't have to interpret through an email.
Yeah. Now, on the east side, you'll be doing some renovation work over there.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. So the blueprint project that was approved last year, there's going to be handrails. We're going to widen the seats. We're going to do this, but we can't put chair backs in on the east side because of the tread depth.
Yeah, it's 27 inches, and you need 32.
Michael mentioned that in there. The tread depth on the east side is 27 inches. The tread depth on the west, when we come back with the new, will be 33 inches. So it'll be 6 inches different. So on that east side, instead of putting in a chair back, we are putting in a mesh bottom that will get everyone off of the bleacher, heat and comfort, so you'll have a mesh bottom, and it will mark your seat. So the rest of the stadium will have a new experience, different degree, but a new experience.
But it'll be 18-inch seats.
That's right, 18-inch seats.
Instead
so
of
it'll
16.
Be wider,
yeah.
Wider seat.
Now that'll require a reallocation of seating, right?
Yeah, and that's part of what, as we're communicating to everyone, because as we shift everyone through this entire process, we have to go through the migration of as certain people move to these seats, who fills those. So it's really a seat migration program, ultimately a reseat, but it's an entire process.
Okay, and finally, you're going to make some renovations in the Champions Club seating area as well.
Yep.
When will that begin to impact existing season ticket
it
holders?
won't. I think that will be done after the 2024 season because it's a smaller project. It can be done in between. So next year, the Champions Club will be as it is for this year, but we will utilize those seats, all of them, for next year because we'll have limited capacity.
Right.
But then we'll come back in 2020, between 2024 and 25, there'll be 6 to 8 different seating options, and that's part of the one-on-one conversation we're having with donors about what options they're going to be for 25. But we are, as Michael mentioned, there were 5,900 chairback seats between the 4th and 6th levels.
Right.
We're going to come back, and it'll be roughly half of that in a different product.
Okay. Stephen, I appreciate you taking the time
Yes,
with
sir.
us, and we'll be talking quite a bit more as this project
Absolutely.
progresses.
No, absolutely. Look, I know this is a personal thing because it's seating, and so I appreciate the time and just appreciate everybody's support, and always go Knowles.